Hi everybody, in this video we're learning how to solve simultaneous equations using the elimination method. This is a true statement. 5 plus 1 is equal to 6. Here's another true statement. 2 plus 5 is equal to 7. So I have two true statements here. If I have two true statements and I add them up, look what happens. 5 plus 2 is 7. 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 plus 7 is 13. I get another true statement because 6 plus 7 does in fact equal 13. Here are another two true statements. 10 plus 5 is equal to 15. And 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. If I have got two true statements, I can subtract them and I will also get a true statement. Look at this. 10 take away 3 is equal to 7. 5 take away 1 is equal to 4. Positive 4. And 15 take away 4 is equal to 11. This is a true statement because 7 plus 4 does equal 11. Here's another true statement. 2 plus 3 equals 5. Did you know that if I multiply everything in that statement by 2, I also get another true statement if I say 2 times 2 is 4, plus 3 times 2 is 6. That gives me 5 times 2, which is equal to 10. If I have a true statement, I can multiply it by anything I like and I will get another true statement. Let's try this one. We're going to multiply this by 10. 2 times 10, 20. 1 times 10 is 10. 3 times 10 is 30. That's another true statement. Have a look at this true statement. Here is another true statement. What I can do is I can multiply this one by 2 and then I can add them together. Watch what happens now. If I multiply that first one by 2, 20 minus 4 equals 16. That gives me another true statement, doesn't it? And then I'm just going to take these two here, and I'm going to add them together. 5 plus 20, 25. Ooh, minus 4. Plus 4 minus 4, well that gives me 0. 9 plus 16 gives me 25. Did you notice that when I added these ones together, the 4s became eliminated? Look at these ones here. Once again, I've got two true statements. 5 plus 2 is 7, and negative 6 plus 7 is equal to 1. Watch what I'm going to do this time. I am going to say the first equation, equation number 1, take away equation number 2. That's number 1 and that's number 2. Now to do this, I'm going to have to be a little bit careful so as I don't muck up my negatives. Look what I'm doing. Firstly, I'm saying 5 minus 6. 5 minus 6. That's the same as 5 plus 6, which will give me 11. Next thing I've got is 2 minus positive 7. 2 minus 7, that's going to go to negative 5. What have I got next over here? I've got 7 minus 1. 7 minus 1 is equal to 6. Let's see if I've got a true statement. 11 minus 5 is equal to 6. That is true. If I've got two true statements, I can add them up and I'll get a true statement. I can subtract them and I'll get a true statement. I can double one and add it to the other and I can get a true statement. Whatever I do, it will give me a true statement. And we're going to use that fact in solving simultaneous equations. Here I have a pair of simultaneous equations. I've got equations with letter A and letter B in them. And as you can see here, my A's are lined up here and my B's are lined up here. When we've got our letters lined up like that, that's a good opportunity for us to use this elimination method to solve our simultaneous equations. Now, what I'm looking at is I'm looking here, and I'm saying I've got A and I've got negative A. I think to myself, if I added up these two equations, what would happen to the A's? A plus negative A. A plus negative A, that's the same as A minus A, which gives me 0 A's, or just 0. Next one, let's look down here at the B's. I've got 2B plus 4B. That will give me 6B. So far I've got 0 plus 6B. And then let's look over to our numbers on the right here. We've got 5 plus 1. 5 plus 1 is equal to 6. So here is my new equation. 6B is equal to 6. I can solve that. Divide by 6, divide by 6. B is equal to 1. I haven't finished solving my simultaneous equations yet. I found what B is. I need to find what A is. So I'm going to use my first equation here. A plus 2B is equal to 5. A plus, well, B is 1. 2 times 1 is equal to 5. A plus 2 is equal to 5. Next, I'm going to take 2 off both sides, and that will give me A is equal to 3. So my solution to these simultaneous equations is A equals 3 and B equals 1. I solved those equations using the method of elimination. I eliminated the A's. A's became 0, and then I could just solve the equation looking at the B's. Have a look at this pair of simultaneous equations. I ask myself first, if I was to add up these equations, would my x's or y's be eliminated? Well, x plus 2x would be 3x. Minus 5 plus 3y would be minus 2y. That's not helping me because nothing there is eliminated. Next, I ask myself, what about if I subtracted this equation? Would that make any of my variables disappear? Well, x minus 2x, well, that's going to leave me with minus x. That's not going to help. Minus 5y minus 3y, no, that won't work. So that's not a strategy that I should use. But I do have a look at this, and I can say, well, I've got 1x here and 2x is there. If both of those were 2x, well, then I would be able to eliminate the x's. Watch what I'm going to do. Get rid of these arrows first. I'm going to take my first equation and I'm going to multiply it by 2. That will make 2x minus 10y equals negative 17 times 2. That gives me negative 34. Then I'm just going to write my second equation, this one, just as it is. 2x plus 3y equals 5. Now I look at these two equations and I say, if I subtracted them, that would eliminate my x's. Watch how it's done. 2x minus 2x, nothing. Next I say minus 10y minus 3y. Minus 10 minus 3, that will give me negative 13y. And then I say minus 34 minus 5. That will give me negative 39. Now I can solve this. I'm going to divide by negative 13, divide by negative 13, cancel, and y is equal to 3. Next thing I need to do is substitute that answer y equals 3 into one of the equations. I can choose any of these equations here. I'm going to do it into the first one because that looks the simplest. X minus 5y equals negative 17, and I've got y equals 3. So we're going to go x minus 5 lots of 3 equals negative 17. X minus 15 equals negative 17. What's next? Add 15 to both sides. And I get x is equal to negative 2. So my solution to these equations, x equals -2 and y equals 3. Here's another pair of simultaneous equations. Now when I'm looking at these, I find that I've got the same number of x's and the same number of y's, but just negative them. So what I can do, how would I solve this? Well, if I add these two equations together, look what happens. I have 5x plus 5x is 10x, and I have 4y plus -4y, 4y plus -4y, that is the same as 4y minus 4y, which is 0, is equal to 22 plus -22, sorry, 2 plus -22, 2 plus -22, which gives me -20. I can solve this equation now. 10x equals -20, divide by 10, divide by 10, x equals -2. But I haven't finished yet. I still have to find what y equals. I know that 5x plus 4y equals 2, and I know that x is -2. So that's going to make 5 lots of -2 plus 4y equals 2. -10 plus 4y equals 2. What do I do next? Add 10 to both sides to get rid of that -10. Then we're left with 4y equals 12, dividing by 4, and y is equal to 3. So my solution here is x equals -2 and y equals 3. Did you see how I solved those equations by adding them together? When I added 4y with -4y, that eliminated the negative, it eliminated all the y's. But there was another way that I could have solved this as well. Let's try it again. We've got our same equations again. What would happen this time if I subtracted these equations? Last time we added them together. This time we're going to subtract. Well, I've got 5x minus 5x. 5x minus 5x is 0x. You see that way? I just eliminated the x's. Next, we've got 4y minus 4y. 4y minus -4y. Well, when we've got two negative signs there, what happens? Plus 4y minus 4y, 4y minus -4y is the same as 4y plus 4y, which is 8y. And what are we saying here? 2 minus -22. 2 minus -22, that's the same as 2 plus 22, which is 24. What do we do next? Well, we just have to solve this. 8y equals 24. Divide both sides by 8, and we get y is equal to 3. And then we need to substitute back in to find what x is equal to. 5x plus 4 times 3 equals 2. 5x plus 12 equals 2. What are we doing next? We're taking away 12 from both sides, which gives us 5x equals -10. Divide by 5. We have x is equal to -2. So here are our solutions. X equals -2 and y equals 3, which are the same as we got last time. X is -2 and y is 3. Can you see that last time here we eliminated the y's, and this time we eliminated the x's? Both good ways of doing that problem. Have a look at this one here. Well, can I eliminate the x's or y's simply by adding or subtracting? Well, no, I've got 1 of them there and 3 of them there. And how many y's? 2 and 4. I don't have the same numbers. So what I'm thinking to myself is I really wish that I had 3x there. Now, I don't have that there, But how about I could make that there by timesing that one by 3. So let's times that equation by 3. X times 3 is 3x plus 2y times 3, 6y, equals 4 times 3, which is 12. Then underneath, I'm just going to write the other one exactly as it is. 3x minus 4y equals 2. Now, what I want to do, I've got the same number of x's now in both. I think to myself, if I subtracted, then that would eliminate those x's. So let's try that. 3x take away 3x is 0. Those x's have gone. Next, I've got positive 6y take away negative 4y. So that's 6y take away negative 4y. Negative, negative is a positive. Same as 6y plus 4y, which is 10y. And what have I got here? 12 take away 2 is 10. So I've got 10y equals 10. I should be able to solve that. Divide by 10, divide by 10. Y is equal to 1. Next thing I need to do is work out what x is. I can choose any of these equations. I'm going to choose that one there. 3x minus 4y equals 2. I know that y is 1. 3x minus 4 times 1 equals 2. 3x minus 4 equals 2. What do I do now? Add 4 to both sides. And I get 3x is equal to 2 plus 4, which is 6. Divide by 3. And I have x equals 2. So my solution for that one there is x equals 2 and y equals 1. Why don't you have a think now about how you would solve this pair of simultaneous equations? There's a couple of options for what you might do. What I'm noticing is I've got 6x there, negative 3x there, y there, one of them there and two of them there. Now I'm noticing that I never have the same number. So what I'm going to do, I could, if I was to double this one, that would give me 3 times 2. That would make that into 6, which is the same. I could do that if I wanted. My other option would be to double that one. That would make a 2y there, which would mean I could eliminate my y's. I could do either of those things and I just need to make a choice. Well, I think what I'm going to do is double that one. So what I'm going to do is keep the first equation as it is, just write it down again, and then I'm going to double the second one. Minus 3 times 2 is minus 6x. 2y times 2 is 4y. 3 times 2 is 6. Now what I can do now, I can see that if I just add these ones together, those x's will be eliminated. 6x plus negative 6x. 6 minus 6 is 0. 1y plus positive 4y. One of them plus 4 of them give me 5y. And 9 plus 6 is 15. I can solve that, can't I? 5y equals 15 divided by 5. Y is equal to 3. I need to find out what x is. I can use any of these equations. I'm going to use that one. 6x plus y equals 9. 6x plus, well, y is 3 equals 9. Take 3 off both sides. 6x equals 9 minus 3, which is 6. Divide by 6, which means x is equal to 1. So our solution for that, x equals 1, y equals 3. Have a look at this one here. Now, I don't have the same number of x's, I don't have the same number of y's, so I'm going to need to do some multiplying. But if I just do a simple doubling one of them, that's not going to work either. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm noticing that I've got 2x here and I've got 3x here. If I multiply that equation by 3, that will give me 6x altogether there. And I have to multiply the whole thing by 3, of course. 16 times 3, that gives me 48. Now, I want to have 6x here as well. I'm going to multiply that one by 2. 3x times 2, 6x. 2y times 2 is 4y. 19 times 2 is 38. Now, I've got the same number of 6's for both. That's a good idea. I want to have no x's. Am I going to need to add or subtract this? I'm going to subtract. 6x, take away 6x gives me 0x. 9y, take away 4y. 9 take away 4 is 5. Gives me 5y. 48 take away 38 gives me 10. Now I've got no x's, so I don't even need to write that in. Now I can just solve that. 5y equals 10, divide by 5, divided by 5, and y is equal to 2. Now I need to find what x is. I can go to any of these equations that I've used so far. I'm going to use that top one. 2x plus 3y equals 16. 2x plus 3 times y is 2, equals 16. 2x plus 6 equals 16. As always, take 6 off both sides. That leaves us with 2x is 10 and x is equal to 5. So our solution is y equals 2, x equals 5. Now that one was trickier because we had to do a multiplication for both equations for that. Here's a pair of equations for you to solve. Now I can tell you that for these ones, you're going to have to multiply both equations by something, and there's a couple of options for how you might do it. Press pause on the video and give it a go yourself. Okay, for this one, I noticed that I've got different numbers of x's and different numbers of y's. Now, I could deal with trying to eliminate my x's or my y's. It doesn't matter, I've just got a decision to make. I think I might eliminate my y's. I've got 3 y's here and 2 y's there. Well, 3 times 2 is 6. So I think that if I multiplied this one by 2, that would give me 6y there. And if I multiplied that one by 3, it would give me 6y there. And then I can eliminate. So let's write these equations out again, multiplied. It's going to be, I'm doubling the first one. And I'm tripling the second one. 3 3s are 9. Now, we've got to have to be careful that we're not tripped up with our negatives here. Now, I want to have negative 6y. Now, and then I've got another negative 6y here. Am I going to have a minus there or a plus there to bring that to 0? What am I going to need to do? So I want those ones to eliminate. Now, if I had a plus there, let me show you what that would look like. That would be negative 6y plus negative 6y. That would be minus 6, which is minus 12. That's not giving me what I want. Now, if I put in a minus there, then those two would turn into a plus, and that would make my answer 0. So what I'm going to do here is, there we are, subtract that second equation from the first, and let's see how that goes. First up, 10x minus 9x, that's just 1x. Then I've got what we were looking at there, minus 6y minus 6y. That's minus 6y plus 6y, which is 0. That's what we want. Then we've got 12, take away 9, which is 3. Oh, straight away we've got an answer there. X is equal to 3. And we just need to find what y is. Choose any of these equations I like. I often just choose the top one. 5x, that's 5 times 3, minus 3y equals 6. 15 minus 3y equals 6. What I need to do, get rid of that 15. Subtract 15 from both sides. That's going to leave me with negative 3y equals 6 minus 15. Use your calculator for these if you need to. That will be negative 9, divide by negative 3, and I get y is equal to 3. So my solution is x equals 3, y equals 3. Here is another pair of simultaneous equations for you to have a look at. As you can see, the coefficients, that's the numbers there, don't match. They also don't match here. So you're going to need to do some multiplying. Press pause and work out your strategy. Okay, now I can see that I could multiply that one there by 5 and that would give me 15y, and I could multiply that by 3 and it would make that 15 as well. So that's one strategy. The other strategy is I could just double that top one. If I double that top one, that will give me 4x minus 6y equals 12. And I've also got 4x here on this second one. 4x minus 5y equals 9. So I think I like that way. That's a bit simpler. Now I want 4x to go away. Am I going to be adding or subtracting these? Okay, I'm going to need to subtract. Now make sure you put brackets around them, because remember we've got to be subtracting everything. So I've got 4x minus 4x. That leaves him with no x's, 0. I don't even need to write it down because there's none of them. Next I've got minus 6y minus negative 5y. Minus 6y minus negative 5y. Minus minus, positive. Negative 6 of them plus 5 of them is negative 1 of them. Negative 1y, or as we normally write, just negative y. So I've got negative y equals, then we've got 12 minus 9, which is 3. So that's negative 1y equals 3. What am I going to do? Divide both sides by negative 1. Y is equal to negative 3. Pop that back into one of the equations. 2x minus 3y equals 6. 2x minus 3 lots of minus 3 equals 6. See that? Y is negative 3. Negative 3 times negative 3 is actually positive 9. Take away 9 from both sides, and I get 2x equals 6 minus 9 is negative 3. Divide both sides by 2, and that gives me x equals negative 1.5, negative 1.5. Okay, hopefully by now you're starting to get the hang of how to solve simultaneous equations through the method of elimination. Now, elimination is a really great method to use when you can see here we've got a column of x's and a column of y's, or a column of a's and a column of b's. When they're all lined up nicely like that, you can use elimination. Now, it's probably a good idea to go back and watch this video again and try every example and see if you can learn how to do this really well.